Hi, and welcome to the Energy of the Week. My name is Winona. How are you? How are you feeling? How was last week for you? How are you feeling about this week coming up? We are going to do a reading on the week of December 9th, starting today, which is the day I'm recording on Monday, until December 15th. So we are currently in Mars retrograde and Mercury retrograde. Mars is in the sign of Leo, Mercury is in the sign of Sagittarius. However, Mercury is going direct on the 15th, the same day as the full moon in Gemini, and that does feel a lot more lighthearted. So let's see what else we got. I did prep the reading. While I was shuffling, I did get some messages about this upcoming week before we actually get into the reading, some pre-messages, and one of them that kept kind of coming up is reserving our energy. There's a lot of 4 coming up, and it's about saving our energy, reserving it, resting, but also taking care, be very discerning, waiting before we react. There's something about this pause. There's a lot of noises going around. There's something about pausing and taking time and reflecting this week that is very important before we act. It's like the reason why we're taking a step back, the reason why we are pausing is because there's a lot of power in pausing and thinking and contemplating before we act. And it's not like a procrastinating energy, it's more of being very strategic and efficient about what we're going to do next. And something about how reserving this time of reflecting actually helps us take action with more courage, with more force and effectiveness. Okay, so Monday. The energy of Monday. What is it to know? Calling in the collective angels, ancestors, spirit guides, positive energies only connected to divine source into this reading. What does that mean to know? So Monday we have the Fool, the card of infinity. So a lot of new beginnings, a lot of feelings of being optimistic, feeling optimistic about a new beginning. I kind of see this a lot, that kind of planning, that planning of like a new year. It's like a new year, so I'm getting like kind of the vision of people writing down in notebooks of what they want to accomplish the new year, what they're looking forward to. So there's feelings of kind of like being fed up. They're like feeling fed up about how things were this year. There's definitely like a collective feeling of just kind of disappointment in a lot of ways of how things turned out this year, and just really, but not letting that get us down. It's more of like the gasoline, it's more of the fuel that's firing this feeling of like, okay, I know now what to do. Let's build on that. So Tuesday, let's see what's going on Tuesday. That's a really good, I love the Fool in a reading. All right, Tuesday. All right, I'll take that. 2 cards. So we have, oh, interesting. We have the King of Pentacles in reverse, and we have the 9 of Pentacles. Although it doesn't feel like, I feel like it feels pretty upright with the King of Pentacles. Questionable. All right, so Tuesday feels very abundant. It feels like there's opportunity. It feels very stable, like almost like somebody is using money, using their influence to, this is very unusual, the words that are coming through. It's like someone is predicting an outcome. Predicting an outcome. It kind of feels a little bit, it feels like kind of silly because it's almost like somebody's predicting an outcome that they've worked very hard for. Like it's almost like you're surprised, like and and spirit's like, how are you surprised? How are you surprised at this outcome? You've been working really hard to get to this point. Like you have been putting in the time and effort into something to create something physical, whether that's manifesting a home, a like the type of appearance that you're looking forward to, a savings goal. There's just something very physical that you've been cultivating for a long time. And on Tuesday, it does feel like, wow, like look at all these things look at what I've done. But it's a silly kind of surprise because it's like you've been building towards this. So like, what do you mean like you're surprised? So it feels very, I don't know. To me, it feels kind of funny, but I guess it's very luxurious. It kind of feels like somebody. It's like money well spent. Whatever you're putting that towards, it feels well spent. Mm. However, okay, there's another message that's coming through about because predicting, and there's now the full being right next to you. There is there is this like other side message about sports betting. I don't know why why that's in here, why that came through, but it's like sports betting. Somebody is kind of, this is not for everybody, but some people are spending their hard-earned money in places that could seem somewhat foolish. Um, I'll see what might build on Wednesday. Yeah, so it's kind of like spending. It could be there may be some news of somebody that either it gives me very Uranus and Taurus energies. Like either makes a lot of money or like loses a lot. It's almost like newsworthy, this loss. But like I said, not for everybody, but that's just something to note. Sports betting. Okay. Thank you. All right. So Wednesday. Okay, Wednesday. Wednesday we have the King of Wands. So the King of Wands here already feels like there's a lot of action taking place this week. Somebody and with these three being here, four, it feels very empowered. I'm starting to feel very empowered this week to take action, to take control and see what we can do, control what we can. It's like a very much a it's the opposite of a victim mentality. It's almost like delusional. I kind of getting like a delusional energy going on here, where we're like, okay, like new year, new me. Not saying that's delusional, just saying like completely new. You know, like you're not gonna be completely new, maybe, but there's just like a very grandiose feeling, and it's kind of cool. It's like, all right, like I can do anything, like almost almost invincible feeling. And very like excited, like super excited about the future, excited, like looking forward to, you know, almost like somebody I'm seeing is like checking off like a to-do list very like aggressively, like, okay, that's done, now that's done, now that's done, and wanting to take large steps forward. So I really like that. It does feel um, moving forward, like a desire to move forward and take risks. Thursday. So Thursday, to add more spice to this very, even though it's not a lot of fire, there's only a King of Wands, it feels very fiery. It feels exciting. So we have the Tower on Thursday. We have the Tower on Thursday, and that's Aries energy. There is this ooh, breaking down walls. I really like this. So maybe new year, new you, but really, for sure. It is like that energy of completely tearing down the foundation and tearing down all the way down to the foundation and starting over brick by brick. There is like a really powerful motivation this week, and it feels like we should take advantage of it while we can. I really like the momentum. It feels very opposite Mars retrograde. Maybe it's just the energy of moving into Mercury direct. But one thing I want to mention about the Mars retrograde, which I've been finding very interesting, because I'm like, okay, slowing down, right? You slow down. I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but whenever there's like a retrograde period, I always kind of feel like when I'm in it, I feel more like things are happening faster. I don't, let me know if you resonate with that, because I have experienced that. Like right now in Mars retrograde, I feel more active in taking action. Like I feel more like I want to work, like I want to do things, I want to create. I'm not sure why. Anyway, that was a side tangent. The tower. Let's go back. This is with the, next to the King of Wands. This really is taking powerful action forward into a new future, into new reality. Like, what is it that you want to create? Like, it is, not building off the old, but completely creating something new. And the Fool being this reading here definitely supports this message of I'm not afraid anymore of taking risks. I've done everything to build myself up and to create security. And I find that also an interesting aspect of this reading. So it's like perhaps you've feeling like, all right, I've created security in the sense of maybe like working on something for a really long time. Like these are two examples. It's like I have an emergency fund. Like, so maybe you have saved for emergency fund, or maybe you just finished college, some kind of degree or certificate, some kind of like work program, and now it's time, like if you have emergency fund, like now it's time to quit the job that you've always wanted to quit, because now you have the backing. Now it's time that you're done your degree, so now you're going to take a risk and find like a job, maybe move to a different move to a different state, and then start a whole new life there and start your career. It feels like that. It feels like being able to take the risk, but and feeling very optimistic and almost like the universe is on my side. I'm ready. I'm ready to give it my all. This feels very like all or nothing, all chips. It feels like the casino. It feels like a casino, but I have to say, let's see what the next card is going to be for Saturday or Friday. And I will say it feels like a win so far. All right, Friday. Friday. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th. All right. This came out in one of the pre-messages, this card, the Hanged Man, and I'm pretty sure we had this last week as well. Everything falls. Also, there's 3 major arcana cards in this reading, which is unusual. I usually think we get 1. I've gone per for the last few readings. But anyway, the Hanged Man. So after everything falls down, what do we do? What do we do? How do we see the world? And right, this kind of just supports with the Tower and this action. It's like, I think it's like seeing things differently really changes the game. Like when you see, it's like someone who has seen something and can't unsee it. Ooh. With the Tower being right next to it, you know what it is? There's like a specific memory that I'm getting. This is like somebody seeing something horrible happen and changing changing, like, it's like somebody believing in something that was like really good. What was that movie? Denzel Washington. This is like the best way I could describe it. It's like somebody that's like, okay, it's kind of like the energy of like somebody seeing like, oh, like I want to be a hero. I want to be like a superhero. And then they finally, this is just a funny example, that they finally get to see what it's like to be a superhero. And they realize that maybe they can't save everybody. And it's like really awful feeling that you can't save everyone. Or it's just like seeing how something is made, and it's like the whole thing of like you don't want to see how the sausage is made. Like it tastes good but you don't want to know what like actually goes into it. And it just completely changing the way you see life, the way you see the world in some aspect. It doesn't have to be crazy in tarot, it doesn't have to be so insanely huge, but maybe there's something that happens that changes. You think it's small, but it just is a small change, something that makes you see things differently slightly, but it over time it it's like it's shifted your direction so much, even that small bit, but it's shifted it just enough that it completely changes like where you go next, the way you like just the way that you respond to so many things. Wow. Okay. All right. I will say I see somebody definitely contemplating a move, like a physical move, like homes. Also, somebody in relation to marriage as well. Somebody contemplating that as well. Either it can be either one. Either somebody contemplating like feeling totally compelled to marry somebody and just feeling super like inspired out of like nowhere, like they're just like maybe there's someone out there that felt like I'm never going to marry somebody, and then they meet somebody or they realize their partner is like this, I really want to spend the rest of my life with this person. Or it could be the opposite as well, is coming through, is like somebody that's like looking at reflecting on their life and their circumstances, and they realize that they really don't want, they want to tear it all apart, and end a union. So that's also coming through. Okay, on to Saturday. Wow, y'all. This is, whatever this changes must be big, because we have the Two of Swords here, which is like the other card of indecision in the tarot. It's just being very indecisive about something. There's something on our minds this week, or maybe on some of our minds more than others. Very interesting. Very interesting with it, realizing the Tower is at the center of this reading. Some kind of major change, some kind of new beginning overall, and then just it's like in the beginning, right? It's like ready to take a risk, and then suddenly like almost like, are you getting cold feet about this? Are you worried? Are you actually gonna go through this? Or you do the thing, or you do take the action, and then everything explodes and you're like, was that the right decision? Very, very interesting. Okay. You know what? I would draw a card on the Two of Swords, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave that there, and we're gonna go on to Sunday. So let's see. Love and decision. Let's see if it resolves. Okay, Sunday. Sunday we have the Four of Wands being here. And yeah, a lot about the home. So we have the Four of Wands as the final card, which only kind of clarifies that this does feel like it is about a union towards the end, like the indecision, but also the foundation. Once again, it's about the Four of Wands is like the home, but it's also, right, the home represents like so many aspects of life. Like what makes you feel secure, what makes you feel like there's solid ground beneath your feet. And I guess at the end of I mean, not disaster, but the end of every, not crisis, but I guess at the end of every major decision where you just a decision that just completely blows over everything that was before it, like quitting your job or the end of a relationship or moving to a different country or anything around those lines. I mean, there is that period of reflection, isn't there? That period of, what if I made the wrong choice? But the message, the energy that's coming through for Sunday being the Four of Wands definitely gives a feeling that it's like with the messages, like the home is in you, like it's that. I really don't like this quote, but just so the whole, wherever you go, there you are, of it all. So, not really happy with that, but that is what is coming through. So, there also could be some kind of celebration on Sunday. Maybe there is like a wedding that you're attending, there is some kind of party, but also maybe there is a rejoice as well. Maybe there is also like, there's this like feeling of like happiness after the fact, even though like maybe there is like that sadness after, like, okay, like, am I going to do this, am I going to take this leap? And then you do take the leap, right? You burn it all down, and then there's this reflection that happens after. Maybe there's some sadness, maybe there's crying, but after that period, those 2 days or so, or maybe even more, there is like almost like this clarity on Sunday that we get, that kind of, that feels like, I'm really happy I made that decision. At the end of it all, this feels like way more solid now, because what was before, which is the Tower, what was before was not solid. It was not correct. There's something off about it, and that's why it could fall down. All right. So I don't know how long I've been going on for. I feel like I've been going on for like an hour. All right. So we're gonna shuffle and get the last card of the reading and close it out. Thank you for those who are sticking around to hearing me ramble, it feels like sometimes. So, okay. The overall theme of the week. Too many. Also, I feel like you probably heard like 100 planes fly over. Ah. Ooh, that's tough. Got him. Okay. Okay. All right. It's been spoken. It's been spoken. So, yes, the overall theme of the week is the Eight of Cups. I was actually thinking about this card pretty recently. I was watching something and I was thinking about the Eight of Cups and how it's not just about leaving things behind, although I do feel from this reading it is a lot about leaving things behind that just don't feel right, that doesn't serve us, of course. It's just, what I want to clarify is like, this is about the reason why we're taking these risks, right? The reason why we're taking such forceful action that's coming through, and there's so much contemplation, is because there's something. I mean, ask. I would encourage us to ask ourselves, I would encourage us to ask ourselves, what is it that you feel is missing in your life? What is it that you feel is missing? Because in the Eight of Cups, like, you wouldn't leave, right? Like, you won't leave things behind just to leave them behind. It's because we know that there's something missing in our lives, and it's not where we are, so we have to go. And we know it exists outside of us, and it's like, you know, and I know that it exists outside of the realm that we're in, and so we must venture out and take a risk and do something we've never done before, even so far as go and burn it all down, because that feeling is that strong. The feeling that we're not where we're supposed to be. And that is it. I will leave you with that. And definitely, I like the optimism of taking a risk, betting it all, and almost like it's like maybe there are regrets, right? Maybe there are things left on the table, but overall, sometimes we just got to do it. All right, so that is a reading. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Divine. Thank you for being here. If you felt called to the reading, take only what resonates and leave the rest. Hope that this supported you in some way. Love you. Ciao.